Hey everyone, welcome to another video. Today we're going to talk about issue number 1 of Black Panther: The Blood Hunt, written by Cheryl Eaton and art by Farid Karami. But before we dive into the story, I want to ask you a favor. If you enjoy this video, please leave a like and a comment to help the channel grow. Now, in previous stories, Lilith, the mother of demons, sent darkness and demons to attack the earth, so a team of supernatural heroes gathered to defend it. Now they called themselves the Midnight Suns. So, as darkness shrouds the earth once more, the Midnight Suns must reunite, and among them are heroes like Danny Kelch, empowered by the spirit of vengeance as the Ghost Rider, Johnny Blaze, once a Ghost Rider himself who now fuels his weapons with hellfire, Victoria Montesi, a daughter of the elder god Thon and an expert in dark magic, and finally Blade, a half-human half-vampire monster slayer. But there's just one problem, and that is vampires have swarmed Earth. So when the Darforce dimension erupted and blocked out the sun, Blade switched sides and became the leader of the vampire army by the name The Structure. Now this issue opens with a church on fire, as Blade feels like this is a nightmare that is cold and burning at the same time. So as he is walking into the flaming structure, a voice asking if he is okay breaks his daydream. So with that dream gone, Blade finds himself in a diner sitting across from a heavily armored man, a man who is concerned with Blade's unusual behavior. So with worry in his eyes, Blade only answered that he is well. So with that out there, the man goes on to say that he doesn't look well. But regardless of all that, he called up the rest of the crew just as he asked. So with everyone gathered and awaiting the Daywalker's orders, Blade reiterated if everyone he taught to kill vampires was in this room, in which the man doubled down and confirmed just that. So with that out there, Blade stood to his feet and unsheathed his 2 swords and looked his student dead in the eyes, and on the next page, sliced his head clear off. So with one of his former students dead, he quickly went to work cutting down the rest, in a way that only he could do. So with each member falling one by one, Blade was the last one left standing as all his students lay cut to pieces. Now with the diner covered in blood, Blade stood alone as a teardrop ran down his face. So following that opening scene, we transition over to Arizona with Danny Ketch practicing his shooting on a few bottles. So with each target destroyed, he started to reload when a voice called his name. So with no hesitation, Danny turned his weapon in the direction of the voice, only to see a woman with her hands outstretched. Now this woman introduced herself as Tulip and then followed that up with, they have a mutual friend. So with that poor introduction given, she then goes on to say she is here to talk about Blade. So with his interest piqued, the two sat at a table where Tulip filled Danny in on what she knows about his situation. To which Danny was skeptical to believe her, because that was not how he remembered Blade. But Tulip then goes on to say Blade is capable of a lot more things after his time with Dracula. But that is when Tulip also states that Blade wouldn't hunt down his own people, referring to those in the diner earlier, if he had a choice. So with that comment out there, Danny asks if she believes he is under someone else's influence or if someone else is putting him up to it. Now that is a question she couldn't answer on her own, which is what brought her there. Because she needs help from him, the Ghost Rider. Now this triggered Danny, because he stood to his feet and asked if she thinks all the Ghost Rider has to do is wrap his chains around Blade, and instantly he tells him everything. Now in all honesty, Tulip replied that she doesn't know how it works, but she needs someone who doesn't give a crap about reckless abandonment and do what needs to be done. Because in these dark times, they need a cowboy. So with that out there, Danny goes on to say that he doesn't know her and trust is very important. And him and the writer are going to want to know more about her and anything she could be hiding. So after a deep drink from the bottle on the table, Tulip looked at Danny straight in the face and says, "Go ahead." And just like that, the Ghost Rider emerged and told her to look at him. Now with the penance stare in full effect, Tulip let out a bone-scratching scream. Now following that, we fast forward a little while later with Tulip waking up. And before her stood Johnny Blaze, so with the two face to face, Tulip asked if he was still a writer, to which he states no, he just shoots hellfire through a shotgun now. So with that disclosure, Tulip asks what exactly happened, to which Johnny states the writer showed her all of the pain she caused in her life. Now with that out there, Tulip asked Johnny if she could count on him helping her, to which he replied by saying they will help her find Blade, but they will need her help with something as well. So with both parties in agreement, Tulip informs him that she once promised Blade that she would take him out if he ever turned to the dark side, and she is good at keeping promises. So with their conversation coming to a close, we jump outside, where Danny is feeling sick to his stomach. So once he was done throwing up, Tulip exited the home and asked what was wrong with him, to which he informed her that every time the writer does his stare, some of the memories are stuck with him, which is a side effect that may cause him to feel sick. So with that clear, Tulip tells Danny that Johnny is on board, so she wanted to know about him as well. To which Danny replies by saying she showed up in the middle of a thing they were doing. So with the secret door opened, they noticed a weapons cache in the ground. Now as the group is suiting up, we fast forward to the middle of nowhere with a convoy traveling through the desert, until Tulip shot a missile directly at the trucks. So with one down, the rest of the team exited the vehicles to engage the enemy, but unlucky for them, Johnny had Hellfire rounds. Because with a single shot, each soldier caught on fire, so as the troops dropped one at a time, Johnny told Tulip to watch her back. Now with the warning given, Tulip took out a vampire who was sneaking up behind her. So with the target down, there was still one additional vampire mercenary that was making his escape. So as he ran into the void, Tulip asked what they should do about him, in which Johnny replied by saying let him go. Now the two reasons why they did this mission were A, to see if she could do it, and B, because a corporation thinks there is money in capturing and franchising things from the Dark Force dimension. So with that said, Johnny unlocked the truck, just to see a tentacle shoot out of the truck and wrap around Tulip's neck. And right before it could do any real harm, Johnny blew the tentacle right off the main body. So as Tulip fell to the ground, Johnny forced the door closed and restrained the beast until the Ghost Rider arrived on the scene and all his burning flames. And without any hesitation, he drove himself straight into the truck, causing it to completely blow up alongside the creature within. So as the metal and tentacles flew everywhere, we transitioned over to Iraq sometime later with Tulip approaching a cave with several people at its entrance. Now before she enters, she tells the people to leave. So with that warning given, Tulip enters the cave and is met by a man sitting in the darkness. And in a cryptic voice, the man calls her the daughter of Thon and asks if she is here to save the body he is in. But that is when she corrects him by saying she is here to end the suffering of the people she met outside. Now this comment prompted the entity to let out a laugh, because from his perspective, life is suffering. Now the Adana was loose, so those that feed upon blood are free to rise and spread across the world. So with that statement, the entity goes on to say he has a scrupulous conscience, and some sins he needs to confess. And that is the person he is embodying screams like bright prayers and offers Tulip a chance to see his fear and pain. And in a vindictive way, the entity let the poor soul he embodies leak through, just enough to where Tulip could hear him say help me. So as a single tear fell down her face, the entity went on to say her low magic can do nothing to him. To which, Tulip took out a blade and raised it above her head, and with a slice of her hand, her blood spilled on the ground and formed a pentagram. So with worry creeping into the entity's eyes, he asked what exactly she was doing. To which Tulip called for reinforcements, and a hand appeared out of the pentagram. Now this hand wasn't from a low-class demon, but rather it was from Lilith. So as full-blown fear entered the entity's eyes, a blood-culling scream erupted from the cave, before it suddenly fell silent. So with the creature dealt with, Tulip exited the cave and told the natives that the man within needed medical attention and they are free now. So with the exorcism complete, we fast forward to Tulip drinking at a cafe as Johnny approaches her. And as he sat down, he told her that he needed to ask her a question in person that required an answer. To which she replies by saying she will help them kill Blade. Now Johnny tried to correct her by saying he wanted to confront him and try to understand what was happening to him. Now that was quickly shot down as Tulip said she had foreseen his coming. And if Blade had become what she believes he is, then the Midnight Suns will have to kill him. So with that said, this issue of Midnight Suns comes to an end. Now with that out there, if you want to stay in the loop about any individual storyline, then how about you hop over to the playlist section down below or in the link cards above to get all caught up on everything on my channel. So with that established, I hope you enjoyed this video, and please don't forget to leave a like and a comment if you want to see more videos like this. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next review.